Now for our featured story of the day. We have Max Keiser, who recently tweeted, Bitcoin's going to $5 million with or without the United States. Now, Max was the first one to break the story that there could be a huge announcement at this Bitcoin conference in Nashville in a few days, because Trump is going to be a big speaker, and Trump may make the announcement, if he is elected president, for the United States to adopt Bitcoin as some form of strategic reserve asset, maybe for the treasury. There's a lot of different, theories or rumors circulating, but Max was the first one. And now, just the other day, CNBC is sharing the same story. Forbes is sharing the same story, but you heard it here first. I was the first podcaster to cover that. But anyways, Max more recently shared this after Trump said some negative things about Bukele, which are not true. He says, I doubt the U.S. has the brains to add Bitcoin to the reserves. Jealous Donald is no President Bukele. Bitcoin's going to 5 million with or without the U.S. Now, as I just shared, we also have asset manager that was on CNBC yesterday, also making this prediction that the Trump administration may make Bitcoin a strategic reserve asset. And I also want to read to you the latest with Stacy and Max and their vision for Bitcoin country and the new dawn of independence for El Salvador. So I have a lot to cover here, and let's dive right in, starting with this story right here. So check this out. Asset manager Brian Korshnies appeared on CNBC yesterday to discuss Bitcoin's potential to become a strategic reserve asset of the U.S. government under a future Trump administration. According to the asset manager, adopting Bitcoin as a reserve asset would be difficult, but not impossible. He pointed to the Department of Justice vast holdings at 200,000 Bitcoin. Keep in mind right now, BlackRock has 333,000 Bitcoin. They started accumulating since the ETFs went live on January 11th. It took them 6 months. The U.S. government has over 200,000 Bitty just from confiscation. So not like they don't have access to Bitcoin, right? Now, he explained the Department of Justice could simply transfer the Bitcoin to the United States Department of Treasury, paving the way for the Treasury to begin accumulating and holding the scarce asset long term, which seems like a no-brainer, doesn't it? Speculation that Bitcoin may become a global reserve asset or strategic U.S. Treasury asset surged following the former President Trump's announcement of support for the digital asset industry amid mounting worldwide debt and monetary inflation. Trump's pick of J.D. Vance, the 39-year-old Bitcoin holder, as his running mate also fuels speculation that a future Trump administration could mean a new era for crypto, in which Bitcoin becomes fully integrated into the current financial system. Also, billionaire investor Mark Cuban also imagined a scenario in which widespread inflation and geopolitical instability drive the global population to Bitcoin as a haven to protect their life savings and purchasing power, elevating Bitcoin to the status of a global reserve currency organically. Data from high inflation countries like Argentina, Venezuela, and Turkey indicate this is already happening as populations shift to cryptocurrencies as a hedge against inflation. And yeah, Mark Cuban had a very long rant on why he is bullish on Bitcoin and why he believes it can become a world reserve currency and be adopted by the United States and countries around the world. And this is actually quite the contrast to where Mark Cuban a few years back was comparing Bitcoin to bananas and said Bitcoin had no real intrinsic value and he valued bananas more than Bitcoin. Well, he's made a complete 180. Go figure. And then we have Ari Paul of Block Tower Capital, who disagrees. He believes the odds are only 10 to 1. He betting against Bitcoin becoming a strategic reserve for the United States in the next 4 years. The entrepreneur explained that the U.S. Strategic Reserve, a collection of assets held for use in case of national emergencies, may not be officially established, even if a future president announces that the U.S. would not sell his Bitcoin holdings. Now for the latest, this was just published by, I believe this was Forbes. This is international Forbes. This is pretty cool. Yep, this is Forbes International. They featured Max and Stacy, so I want to share this latest story as well. Stacy Herbert, shout out Stacy, who runs the Bitcoin office for President Bukele, emphasized the importance of branding and policy in establishing El Salvador as a Bitcoin-centric nation. El Salvador is Bitcoin country, and our office helps guard and maintain this brand. She said, highlighted the office's efforts in various domains, from education projects to foreign policy initiatives like opening Bitcoin embassies in Lugano, Switzerland, attracting investors such as Cathie Wood to establish businesses in El Salvador as also a key part of their mission. So shout out Cathie Wood. Max Keiser, the senior Bitcoin advisor of President Bukele, echoed Herbert's sentiment. We like to think of El Salvador and the brand, a Bitcoin country, as being synonymous, Keiser said. He underscored the administration's dedication to Bitcoin and its vision, ensuring that only projects aligned with Bukele's goals are pursued. Herbert elaborated on the broader implications of Bitcoin's principles, emphasizing its uncensorable nature and the sovereignty it provides. Bitcoin is sovereign money, sovereign wealth, and sovereignty, he asserted. He pointed out that unlike other cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin does not have a central authority or a marketing team, making it a true embodiment of independence. Both Herbert and Max believe that Bitcoin aligns perfectly with President Bukele's vision of true independence and peace for El Salvador. As global financial systems face increasing sanctions and instability, they argue that Bitcoin offers a resilient alternative. In this era, Bitcoin represents what it means to be independent, sovereign, and uncensorable, says Stacy. El Salvador's bold move to embrace Bitcoin continues to attract global attention, and with advocates like Herbert and Keiser at the helm, the nation's journey as Bitcoin pioneer looks promising. So there you have it, yo. And he also just shared this poll just recently. Max, I saw this on his profile. Let's see what it says. Trump's tone-deaf remarks on President Bukele in El Salvador, showing that he has not done his homework on Bitcoin, will have what impact on the likelihood he makes a U.S. Bitcoin reserve announcement in Nashville? The two options. Not going to happen. It'll for sure happen. So just to see the results, I'm going to vote here. And 75% of you say it's not going to happen. This was out of over 1,000 votes. And so there you have it, family. But let me know your thoughts. Do you think this week at the conference, keynote speaker Trump will make some form of an official announcement for the United States that if he is reelected as our POTUS of the United States of America, they will adopt Bitcoin some way, somehow, whether it's as a strategic reserve asset for the United States or whether they put the Bitcoin at the Treasury, like was also referenced here in the story? And do you think the implications of America adopting Bitcoin will send the King Crypto to $5 million per coin, as Max says? Let me know your thoughts. And again, he says we're going to 5 million with or without the United States. So let me know your thoughts. And welcome, family, to the Q&A segment.